You're listening to Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Challenge us at Wexford Insurances 0818 31 30 30.
My first guest this morning is Beryl Power from the Rug Hub Equine Laundry based in Camolin. Beryl, start by telling me a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I'm from Bunclody originally and moved to Camolin about 20 years ago. I have been self-employed most of my working life. I'd have various different enterprises, and just before I set up the Rug Hub, I was running a horse breeding and production enterprise from a small farm in Camolin.
So you were involved in the equine sector prior to getting involved in setting up the Rug Hub. Where did the idea come from?
Well, it was actually from having the equestrian business that I noticed I had a significant amount of rugs for washing myself every year, and from that the seed grew in my mind. I suppose I had been thinking about it for quite a while before I did anything about it, and I suppose I eventually got around to giving it a try, and I suppose testing the market.
And how did you go about testing that market?
We started off with very basic equipment, cheap equipment that I bought from personal savings, and tried out the business with friends, acquaintances and anyone really that was prepared to give us a go at the very early stages.
And from there, what did you do next?
Once I had established there was a market, I suppose I phoned around. I was looking for some expertise, some level of expertise in the business, and I suppose I found I had to go maybe to the UK to get some advice on that. So what I did was I basically picked up the phone and I rang as many equestrian laundries I could find in the UK, and eventually I happened on a very obliging laundrette in Newmarket, which was great because they were one of the leading laundrettes in Newmarket, and they brought me over and they showed me the business from start to finish, and that really was a key point for me in the setting up of my business on a more professional level.
And what did you learn from that visit?
Basically, there was a whole streamlined process from the washing. The drying was very important because instead of having a weather-dependent service, which was really restricting my own business, I was able to get a model for having an indoor drying system and to be able to deal with much larger quantities of rugs and to be able to give a faster turnaround time for services, and also the packaging and presentation of rugs at the end of the process.
Did you receive much support from the government agencies across the county?
Well, right from the start, I was lucky in that, and probably even before I started the business, I had tied in with Wexford Enterprise Board, which was very good from the point of view of ongoing training courses. And of course, from a financial point of view, say later on in the business when I set up my website and got funding for that, and also say for marketing for trade shows and things like that. The Wexford Enterprise Board have been terrific in that for that level of support.
I know that this business would suit the fit for Wexford Local Development as well. Have you had much contact with them?
In the past year, Wexford Local Development, I have been working with them and have just actually completed a major expansion phase for the business with them. We have just installed part of the Wexford Local Development grant scheme. I have been able to install 3 additional industrial washing machines.
What level of support did you receive from Wexford Local Development to do that?
I have been approved for a figure of about 20,000 for various different developments within the business. Some of it I have drawn down already, and others are a work in progress. But hopefully by the end of June this year, I will have that expansion phase completed and monies used very wisely, hopefully.
I know, Beryl, that one of the big challenges for people in drawing down money from the likes of Wexford Local Development is that you have to get match funding. So 50% of the total cost is covered by Wexford Local Development, and you have to come up with the other 50%. How challenging has it been for you to come up with that other balance?
Yeah, that was one of my great achievements of last year, was actually achieving funding, managing to secure funding from my local bank. And I was actually amazed I was able to get it, because I had been told by many people I wouldn't get money from the banks. So from that point of view, once I had, in essence, Wexford Local Development were backing me, so there was no problem then with getting the matching funding then.
I know that the equine sector has been decimated over the last number of years. What effect has that had on your own business?
Thankfully for me, my business suits the recession, and because people have more of a tendency to, to make do with the old, renew it, get a rug washed and repaired, as opposed to buying new rugs and equipment. So from that point of view, I suppose the recession hasn't been too bad to my business.
What have you seen to be the changes that have taken place within the sector over the last number of years?
Well, from the time I started, I suppose I have noticed a lot of the smaller trainers, maybe trainers that would have set up maybe during the Celtic Tiger, that would have had a lot of the, maybe builder syndicate. A lot of those have maybe considerably reduced in size or even gone out of the business. And the same maybe even with a lot of leisure horse owners. When the economy was great, there was a lot of I suppose excess money in the market, and people were able to maybe afford horses and a lot of the things that go with it. But a lot of that has gone. But there is definitely, there's a strong core in the business, and people that were around beforehand, maybe they've just consolidated, but there's definitely a strong core of equestrian business still in Ireland.
How easy do you find it to get paid?
Getting paid, I suppose I choose my clients wisely, and in general, I think people are very good. They don't, I don't really have a problem on that score, thankfully.
What have been the major challenges that you have had to overcome over the last number of years in business?
Well, Karl, in the early stages, I suppose one of the biggest challenges I found was actually managing to stay focused, maybe in the quieter times, and believing, I suppose, in my business model and in what I was setting out to achieve. Some days when the phone wouldn't ring, you'd panic and wonder, would anybody ever lift the phone again to you? Whereas now I would find I actually welcome those quieter times so that it gives me a chance to develop on the business. But I suppose it was a major challenge back, in the first year or two, to actually believe that it would keep going, and maybe not to try and change direction or to go off on tangents and think that it mightn't work. So I suppose keeping the head and keeping focused in the quieter times initially was one of the biggest challenges. What's
the geographic market that you're serving currently?
Well, we're covering, I suppose, the greater southeast and beyond, and but I suppose Navan and Trim and Meath are not the greater end of the southeast, but we go as far as there regularly every 2 weeks, and we also do a regular trip to Tipperary as well. So we have regular clients in all those areas, Wicklow, Dublin. And
is repeat business a big part of your business?
Yeah, repeat business, I suppose, is the core of our business, and we very much go on that. When you get a customer once, we intend to keep them, and so yes. So not only is repeat business a big part of our business, but also the referrals that they would send us on, that we have built most of our client base through referrals. We have done some, say, direct marketing. We use social media. Facebook is actually quite good for, say, a lot of the leisure customers, and then our website, actually, which was part funded by the Enterprise Board, that has been a fantastic I suppose marketing tool as well for us.
I know that the equine sector certainly has lots of trade shows on across the country. Have you attended any of those, and if so, how successful have they been?
We have done that, and we have found that to be a great success, because you're getting straight into the the trade customers and into the thoroughbred industry, which is a huge part of our business.
What would the breakdown of your customer base look like?
Yeah, I suppose you'll be talking about maybe 50-60% would be trainers and stud farms, and the remainder then would probably be leisure industry customers. They can be anybody, say, from a one horse customer to people with maybe 4 or 5 horses in the yard, and then obviously the trainers, then they can have anything from 10-20 horses up to 50-60 horses in their yards.
And tell me the plan for the future. What is it for the Rug Hub?
Well, the plan for the future, it's quite tempting to say that we'd operate a nationwide service, but our big concern about that would be to maintain quality and standards and the reliability of service. So for the moment, what we want to do is maybe to saturate our current areas, to a higher level, and continue giving the level of service that we're currently providing, just on more clients within the same area.
And Beryl, finally, what advice would you give to anyone listening to the show this morning that might be considering starting their own business?
Well, I'd say to anybody that was looking at starting a business, I'd say if they have what they consider is a good idea, I would say to make sure and do lots of plenty of market research to tie in with the local government agencies. And a lot of people think that maybe, their support is for somebody else. It's not. It's actually for the person just starting out with an idea. And, I suppose one of the things as well that I would say is if somebody else tells you your idea won't work, if you believe it'll work and you have done your market research, I would just say just to have the resilience and determination to follow it through to the end, because I suppose if you have done your research and you do know your market area, I suppose other opinions don't count.
Well, Beryl, there's certainly some useful tips there for anybody considering starting their own business. Thank you for coming in this morning, and I wish you continued success with the Rug Hub.
You're listening to South East Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick in association with Wexford Insurances. Think Wexford Insurances for your business insurance.